critique your own gameplay. At least that's the advice and the mantra I hear from many people that are giving advice on how to climb in competitive Overwatch 2. And especially as I have been documenting my journey to becoming a professional Overwatch 2 player at 27, many of my replies on TikTok and comments here on YouTube have been very much singing that tune. In the interest of honing that advice and really bringing that on and doing my best to be very self-critical in a healthy way, we're gonna jump right in. So this game was my very first game that I lost, and actually the only game I lost today out of, I think, 6 games played. So I'm hoping to be able to critique this by watching it back and getting an idea of why I died, why we lost ultimately, because I don't want to blame it on my other teammates. My goal here is to be able to consider what could I have done differently. And so far, I'm screwing around with glass. I don't know why I'm doing that, but that's something that I definitely could have done better. I take this Hanzo fight, and as I recall, I think I decided to go hyper-aggressive. I used my shift and wasted that. So there were 2 mistakes I made there. Used my shift completely early. As I recall, I think I was like full HP when I used it. Let's back it up a little bit and watch that back. I think I was literally full HP. I don't believe the Hanzo would hit a shot, but I was so used to Hanzos hitting their shot. Yeah, I was full HP. Wasted that. Didn't pay attention to the BAP grenade coming in to help, and I pushed into a fight. Now, if it had just been the Hanzo there and I had both abilities still, I actually think that I might have come out on top of that. Unfortunately, now it looks like we lost both one of our supports and one of our damage. Second one's on his way to death right now. Our Hanzo's very low. He dies. I throw this immortality field in the hope of saving the Ramatra. That did not work. Wanted to get some early game damage in, or early fight damage, I guess I should say, so I went ahead and did that. Did a little bit of picking there. This monkey was all over me, which was good for him, but really frustrating for me. Okay. Once again, looking for the squishies here. Not a bad move. And I know they were back there. Now, what I should have done here is I should have jumped to try and get an angle on them, especially with that the monkey jumping down. So this guy jumping up right here, I should have been rocket jumping to get an angle and not be focusing on this tank that's pushing my Torb. At this point, I'm aware that my RAM is low. That was a good call throwing the lamp, but it wasn't my best lamp placement. Probably could have put it, if I go ahead, I mean, I could literally have put it in this little corner right here. To the left of where I'm aiming, and it probably would have done a little bit better. I think it still would have reached him if I'm not mistaken. Let's watch that back. If I throw it right there, a little bit more to the left, it may not actually have hit him, but I might have still been able to save him. Now here, I go for a little damage to help the Ramatra. He starts pushing, and then I realize Wintun back here is rocking one of my supports. This wasn't my best push, but at the same time, we did end up getting the pick. Okay, here I should have been jumping over that shield. Not a huge deal. We still end up winning this fight. So this was actually not a bad fight, but they had already at this point gotten the first point. Let's go ahead and fast forward a bit into the next place. I go for an off angle here to the right, which is not a horrible idea, but I didn't even take some shots there. I really should have. I thought the Hanzo was going to push, which was a bad call. I should have at least taken a couple of pot shots at him. Threw an immortality field to try and save my Hanzo. That did not work. I'm now getting wrecked, trying not to peek too hard, but basically just toss some healing grenades out. Get stuck on the glass. That was a rookie mistake. Coalescence is going for me. Where I should have jumped was up onto this train. What happened was, if we back up just a little bit, we actually, let's see here, hold up. From the Hanzo's perspective, if I get, am I even remembering how to do this? I am still learning all of the, here we go. This is the Hanzo on the enemy team. Let's back it up just a little bit. So he came in from behind, if I'm not mistaken. So he actually pushes right over to here, realizes I'm low, gets a great shot there, and does a really great job of finishing out that fight. He ends up cleaning things up. So what did I do wrong there, and what could I have done better? I put myself in a bad position. I wasn't paying attention for a flank. Now here, going into the next fight, Winston goes primal. I call it out, try and keep in the air. I missed my heal to keep my Zen alive. At this point, I'm recognizing this fight is probably lost, but to be honest with you, I really should have pushed that. This should have been something, we could have probably had this monkey way earlier in the fight if I had just stuck with my tank a little bit more. That was a really good pick. I'm really not upset with that. Now this Hanzo up here has been annoying, but I'm trying to keep my team alive too. I'm thinking he's going to ult here, and he does, so I throw an immortality field at the last second and actually end up saving my team for a minute there. That was a really, really good immortality field, I think. While it may not have been the best placement, the usage of it was much, much better. Now, recognizing my team is pushing back, I'm going to the back, hopefully get a flank. Well, they made a really good escape path just underneath this overpass here. Missed my heal on that Torb. Now, both my DPS are getting absolutely rocked. I end up wasting both my cooldowns there, realizing I don't have any more cooldowns. I back up a bit. Probably could have pushed a little bit more here, but to stay with my Ram, and maybe he would have had a little bit of an easier time living. As I recall, I was really hesitant to use my window here. I wanted to use it, but I didn't feel like it was the best opportunity. Wanted to see how we'd do. Bap goes ahead and uses his window. She is low, but I have no more ammo left, so I had to reload. Overall, what I'm seeing for myself so far is I'm not doing bad positioning, but I'm making bad calls. Like, I'm thinking that the Hanzo was pushing me earlier when he wasn't. Could have gotten some early damage there. I didn't push with my tank when he went. That's definitely something I could have done a little bit better, just to stick with him in that team fight. I now should be backing up. This should not be somewhere I'm staying at all. Ram's here. Now I can go ahead and keep going. That may have been what I was thinking at the time as I saw our Ram coming and went, you know what, I could probably stick this out. All right. Okay, I'm realizing a couple of my teammates are very low. He happened to get on the right side of the window, and our Zen, he had made a huge ult play there. Now, right here, I have no cooldowns. I'm calling for help from my team, but I ultimately ended up putting myself in a very bad spot here, which, as I recall, ended up leading me to my death. I could have jumped up to my right now, but instead, I'm not thinking about that. Where I should have done here is positioning-wise. Let's see. I always forget how to come out into a fourth-person perspective or a third-person perspective. But essentially, behind me here, my right here, you can see kind of where I'm pointing on the screen in your edit, because I can't really do it here. I haven't figured that out yet. This is my first time using the replay. I definitely know that I could have jumped up there and I would have at least had some high ground to get some more shots. I also had window, which means I could have turned this fight around. But instead, I stay here for some reason and end up dying. Let's fast forward a bit. Right here was a huge opportunity for a window. I'm really not sure why I didn't use it. Now, I hear that he went primal, so I'm like, you know what? It's not worth trying to get a monkey in primal. Why I didn't commit to that window there, I couldn't tell you. I end up somehow surviving here, mostly because our Echo got that Mei for me, because otherwise I'd be dead there earlier anyway. Now, I finally commit to this, and it actually kind of worked out okay, but we also ended up wasting an ult there. Either I should have ulted, or our Reaper should have ulted. Both of us ulting, I definitely think was a poor use of ultimates. Our Echo's close to ult, so is our Zen, but I just feel like we really wasted those two ults. We could have just used one and done well. Here I kind of messed up my jumps. I was trying to jump up, and I'm just not quite used to that. So that part of it, you know, seeking the off angle, not a bad thing, except the Hanzo's already looking here. We've already got a few people in this tunnel. And this wind tunnel, I remember he just looked at me like, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm going to take you out, dude. And I think I do. I think I end up winning this 1v1. Yep, tried to walk away towards a health pack. Okay, hold up. I used my shift there. Why did I do that? Was I low? I don't think I was low enough to justify that at all. No, I should have let my passive come in there, and I could have had that ability to help save this fight right here. Didn't have it, though. Ends up getting walled off. At this point, I need to back off. Trying to keep him up is fine, but I need to be doing some damage in between. There I go, doing it. Echo getting low. Pumper with 2 shots. So far, I'm really not staying with my team. And it's not even so much staying with my team. It's reacting to the enemy team. When they're pushing, I'm not backing off. When we are pushing, I'm not pushing in with them. And we can see my team right now is hurting. They got a pick, but then they got a trade here from the other team. This is not looking good for us. So I get up to the fight. Now, at this point, my team should absolutely be backing off this fight. We have 1 support and 1 in our tank. They should be walking away from this fight, trying to recover it, but they didn't. They ended up staying. Now, again, this isn't meant to be a critique of my team as much as it is me. There, I realize I'm so hosed. I need to get out of here. I missed my jump. I end up having to use my shift because I messed up my jump to get out of the position. Now, I'm trying to kind of loop back around, get that. I don't know why I'm looking at that immortality field. That should not have been my focus. Almost no one was in it. And now I realize I'm not looking towards cover. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm really in trouble because it's just me here. I get walled. And I don't believe that was we didn't have a Mei, so it wouldn't have been our Mei. But I get out of there. It almost looked like it might have been our Mei for a second there, but again, that's just because I'm new to this spectating mode. So, we didn't have a Mei, just to be clear, I know that. Not quite that bad. Now, missing some shots here, but overall, not a bad duel. I think the Reaper ends up cleaning him up. I don't remember. No, the BAP on their team healed him. I realized we're getting pushed in our back line. I got a Primal. Now, I put that immortality field down. That is certainly a horrible placement for it. I end up trying to jump. This is a bad habit I have of when I jump, I'm thinking I'm going to jump to the immortality field. And fortunately, our Reaper got a huge ult there. Let's back that up and see if we can see that from his perspective. Or was that their ult? No, that was ours. So let's see. We got Furf there. There we go. Let's back this up a little bit and watch his ult. This is a perfect fade ult. Look at that. Beautiful. Ends up getting stuck. Reaper is in a blizzard, so yeah, that's definitely a bummer. Okay, so coming back over to me now, let's fast forward a bit. I'm going for an off angle. I let my team know that every time I do it. It's one thing I don't agree with when I listen to Awkward. I hear him saying a lot like, you know, don't worry about communicating with your team. I'm at least gonna let him know what I'm doing. That doesn't really change what I'm doing. It just lets them know. I let them know at this point that BAP's low, hoping that we can capitalize on that. Okay. I am seeing a consistent waste of shift. Right here, how low was I? Okay, I had maybe 150 out of 200 HP, might have been 140. That was not a use of shift there, not a good use. Go for it back, I'm pushing way too far ahead. I'm now out of position, and I think I end up getting punished for it pretty hard here. Trying to stay in the line of sight of the lamp. Not a bad shift usage, but ultimately my push forward there was a very bad push. I should have pushed backward and gotten a different angle. That was what I was going for there. But I ended up losing the game there because we could have absolutely won that. Overall, the biggest thing that I'm noticing that I really need to work on is the use of my cooldowns, particularly the shift. I need to place my lamps a little bit better, but I think my usage of them overall is actually pretty good. But the shift, I'm using way too early. I'm using it, but it is way, way, way too early. Hey, if you've been watching the video all the way up to this point, you've probably found it enjoyable. Would you do me a favor and just click the like button? It takes you 2 seconds. It's absolutely free, and it helps the video and me out a ton. To learn more about my journey, click right over here where I did a sleep dart challenge as Ana, and you would be really surprised how poorly it went.